Previously on Football, Tactics and Glory. That sums up how useless Fellows was last episode. He won't stay useless forever, but we are suffering for the cause of training him up right now. Our first game of the episode, home against Blackburn Rovers, and early on we are going to get a chance as off the kick-off, the shot with no defenders able to get in the way gets turned away for a corner. Trivet gets the header. I'm going to make a more conscious effort from here on out to make sure I'm attempting tackles from the opponent's front side if possible. It doesn't change the success rate of the tackle, but if it fails, there is a reduced chance of committing a foul when compared to attempting a tackle from behind the opponent, and that means less chance of getting booked or dismissed. It should help us get over our red card woes so far this season. We're still 1-0 up going into the second half, and Blackburn are going to take a very weird line off their kickoff, giving it to the wide midfielder who decides to shoot himself. Were they really that scared of a Bag interception had they passed to the left forward off the kickoff? Because given Bag's recent fortunes and the passing stat of their centre mid, I'm pretty sure Bag would have missed that interception. More weird decisions from Blackburn later on as they back pass to the centre back who holds it, whilst they are still down 1-0. Sure, the centre-back has a good chance of keeping the ball, but a bad roll later and Challenger has a chance. No goal, but we shouldn't have even had a chance. Blackburn are finally able to mount another attack on their last turn, but their irrational fear of Bag once again comes into play as they lay off to the left mid rather than the left forward, and his shot once again goes nowhere, allowing us to see out the clock and win this game 1-0. Our spoils include 22 glory by virtue of taking down a team rated 1 star higher than us. We also get a renewed hope that we might actually escape relegation this season, as Rotherham loses again, putting us only 1 point behind them. I'm going to do something that some of you might think is a bad idea and invest this next chunk of glory into goalkeeper coach. Here is my logic. Even though GK coach only trains one player, I believe that one player is the most important player on the pitch. It is a personal opinion of mine, backed up by what you saw last episode when we benched Scrimgeour in favour of Fellows. Speaking of, Scrimgeour is going to get a one-off recall to the starting lineup as we are facing Rotherham United here, and given the league situation, I want to give ourselves the best chance of leapfrogging them. Oh, Bag, you've got to block that! But in another odd AI decision, Fowler doesn't try to shoot, instead dribbling back and holding the ball. I make a mistake here by forgetting about both Pelter's slide tackle and Hutchinson's free press, but Fowler once again holds the ball instead of trying to mount some kind of attack. So Bag is eventually able to win it after some difficulty. The passage of play leads to their wing-back missing a tackle and a long pass opportunity. But the wing-back is still in position from over there. Let's try it anyway. We still got it. We still got it. Oh, but it's only going to go out for a corner. Our second chance of scoring on the attack goes nowhere as Draco kicks the ball straight out. He can at least redeem himself by pressing Rotherham's fullback, who has dribbled the length of the pitch. The fullback still gets a layoff pass off, but it's to the much weaker half of Rotherham's striker pairing, and no goal materialises. The second half begins and we have the kickoff. No prizes for guessing what I decide to do with it, but one pesky universal defender means I don't get a clean shot and it's blocked. Back down the other end, Butcher gets his second chance to score of the day. He decides to dribble, but that works about as well as the shot he took earlier. And then the fullback fouls, giving Walton a free kick in our own half. The scoring line here is to lay off through Fowler to Trivet, short pass to Hutchinson, move Jerd into the box, and then long pass to Jerd. However, if we were to miss that first layoff, Fowler would have the ball in a dangerous position and no guarantee that I could win the ball back. That possibility spooked me out of the scoring line, which admittedly would have been a difficult sequence of rolls anyway, and instead I passed to Draco. As you can see, that attack fizzled out, and with time winding down, Rotherham wins the ball again. This is our last turn, our last chance. The only chance I've got is to attempt the tackle, which actually works somehow. Oh, but he's gained motivation from that. Alright, it's going to have to be a loft. On the plus side, we didn't lose the match, so we're still only 1 point behind Rotherham, but our best chance of survival might have just slipped through. As much as I'd like to stay in the fight, it's very important long term for Fellows to become an amateur goalkeeper before season's end, so he can be training his skill during the off season. So he comes back in for the Blackpool game, albeit with a 6-man defence to try and protect him somewhat. Kick-off time, Challenger gets the ball, and somehow, someway, we score this one. It might just be that I take a lot of shots and only remember the ones that go in, but Challenger does have an uncanny knack for scoring low percentage shots outright, when oftentimes the most I'm looking for is just a corner kick. Either way, this does put Blackpool on the back foot, and they are finding it quite difficult to break down our defensive structure right now. Husty, husta, husty, husta. Actually, this seems like a good chance to back pass it to Fellows. This move does result in the defensive line starting to break down once Blackpool take the ball back and shoot, but they are starting to run out of actions to take advantage of this fact, and when I pass the ball to Challenger, they don't have nearly enough actions to do anything noteworthy with the ball, and it's half time. The second half, however, might be a different story. Or it might not, as they attempt to pass straight through Bag, who actually manages to do something for a change, preventing Blackpool from getting a clean shot from their kickoff. More passing woes for Blackpool here as a lofted ball goes to Popejoy instead, and they also fail the tackle, allowing me to pass it out wide and let Attil hold. Another unfortunate roll later, a foul is drawn, and it lets us get the ball to Jerd. Power shot goes nowhere, but it does pin Blackpool deep in their own half, and they decide to hold it rather than move the ball forwards. Our opponents are going to get a late chance to equalise when Pelter misses this slide tackle. I move Attil back in defensive position and they pass to Pervs, but he gets greedy looking for a better angle to shoot, and Chalk is going to make the game-sealing tackle, arguably even a bigger upset than the Blackburn game. Rotherham lost. Doncaster lost. We're actually going to survive. Maybe. That makes this next game against Doncaster pretty important, but even though this is a potential 6-point swing, I am keeping Fellows in goal because look at their strikers, they're rubbish. Most of the amateur league teams have better attacks than Doncaster have right now. Am I tempting fate here? Stick around to find out. If we are going to be punished for my hubris, it's not going to come off the kickoff as Bag immediately intercepts. Doncaster do have their danger men, however. This MF with level 3 slide, for example, makes it very difficult to maintain possession. Yuld also has Rainbow Feint, which he uses to some effect, though Goldsmith, having reaction, forces him to take a less desirable shot that gets easily blocked. This, however, is a more dangerous moment, as now Popejoy is the only defender standing between Yuld and a goal. He does thankfully make the block, allowing us to escape to half-time with the score still level. Our kick-off, going to Challenger as usual, and for a change I decide to try precision shot. I'm going to go with the precision. Oh, saved! And here's a situation where Jerd gaining defense on his level ups actually helps us a lot. It allows him to challenge Fawn's attempt to hold the ball and win it. He's out of shooting range but does inch closer, forcing Fawn, who is now exhausted, to try and track back. He is married to the idea of slide tackling, and it's going to... oh, wow. Okay, Jerd is only out for the game, not for a long time. The tactics screen didn't show it, but Fawn was actually sent off for that challenge. Meanwhile, Challenger is taking the direct free kick, but a low roll means no goal. Late in the game now, Yuld attempts another Rainbow Feint, but he too is tired, so Walton beats him. Walton gets it to Hutchinson, Hutchinson to Challenger, and we have one more chance. Rainbow feint past the defender, we're through on the keeper, power shot to hedge our bets, and goal! The logical response to scoring is to throw as many bodies behind the ball as possible on Doncaster's kickoff, though we probably didn't need that many bodies, seeing as though their sole remaining fresh striker isn't skilled enough to do much of anything. With that attack seen off, the only remaining thing to do is to back pass to Fellows to try and get him more specialisation points and see it through to full time. This crucial victory also allowed us to regain some of the fans that we lost earlier on in the season, but it was not all good news after the game. Oh, Rotherham won! And now we have to deal with Plymouth Argyle, who are currently top of the table. Certainly a difficult opponent both on paper and on grass. Still, we've already managed 2 upsets in this episode. What's one more? A good start for us here, though Tommy Lee is equal to the challenge of parrying the shot, and our usual corner strategy has been rendered ineffective. This is the power of level 3 playing out. Tommy Lee's control is so high that even level 4 head play would have trouble breaking through. We need a new strategy. Jerd wins us another corner, and I short pass it to Challenger to see if he can work some magic with his rainbow feint. It's going to have to be a rainbow attempt. And we score! Wow! Somehow we've got that. What's one more upset indeed? We do a very good job of defending against Plymouth's considerably strong forward line and are looking set to go into the half with a 1-0 lead. But then when I try to back pass to Fellows to give him more EXP, the referee adds Fergie time and gives Plymouth another turn that I hadn't accounted for. Of course, they go on to score using this extra turn. I cannot believe the referee did that. The culprit was the free kick we had been awarded earlier. For each free kick, the game adds an extra action to the minimum number required to end the half. When we ended our turn, 30 actions that counted towards time had been taken, which would normally have ended the half, but because of the free kick, the minimum number was now 31, giving Plymouth the extra turn. But there is a silver lining to my oversight. Fellows started this game on 77 specialisation. He gained 3 points each from the lofted pass and save attempts, and will gain an additional 5 points for completing the match. That will put him on 88, exactly the number needed for him to graduate to amateur goalkeeper. We also didn't give up any more stupid goals for the rest of the game, so we at least come out of here with a 1-1 draw. But anyway, Rotherham lost to Portsmouth, so we are 3 points clear of them with 1 game to play. They could equal us on points, but that goal difference is almost impossible for them to make up. And with Fellows, we have a free choice of any 2 of the 3 important skills for goalkeeping. My original idea before seeing the skills was to take strong goalkeeper and reaction if possible, but this propensity split gives me reason to reconsider. In fact, this is a big enough decision that I'm actually recording this part well after the rest of the episode because I wanted to consult the Football Tactics Discord for their opinion on the matter. Ultimately, the decision is to take playing out now and assess over the next few seasons which scoring skill is going to give me more trouble to see which skill I'm going to pair this up with. What happened in the Southend game is unimportant. We lost 2-0, but I used the game to field some players that had been struggling to get playing time during my push to survive. Delbridge in particular is a player that I wish I could have played more often than I did this season. And with that, it's time for the post-season report. Peterborough United win the Amateur League, with Oldham and Bristol taking the other promotion spots. Rotherham United only win their game by 1, not enough to make up the goal difference, though they do thwart Scunthorpe's attempt at promotion. Plymouth Argyle win the league title. Queen's Park Rangers emerge victorious after a close battle with Bristol in the second league, whilst Barnsley, Bradford and Charlton will be joining us down in third league next season. Stoke City win the First League, but the big story is that despite their disastrous Premier League campaign, Aston Villa have rebounded to once again promote. As for the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur make it back-to-back titles, seeing off a late charge from Manchester United. It's a minor league double for Queen's Park, as they take the Prestige Cup in addition to their second league title. Meanwhile, Manchester City pick up their first piece of silverware in the playthrough, beating Everton 3-2 in the National Cup final. A dominant performance from France in Europe this year. An all-French EFA final led to Olympique Lyon winning easily, whilst in the European Cup, Paris Saint-Germain makes it back-to-back titles. And if we look into this season's Euro winners, we can see that both Lyon and PSG have squads saturated with level 100 players, with a few players who aren't already level 100 being close to it. It seems as though France is the strongest league in the game right now, though whether or not it'll stay that way remains to be seen.